Hello everybody and welcome back to History with Brian. If this is your first time with me, my name is Brian and I'm a master's student of history, here to talk history, learn more about history, and have fun while doing it. If you want to know more about what this channel is about, please go back to my previous video where I talk about it in depth. You get more of a sense of who I am and what I'm here for. So before I start today's video, I'd like to reach out to those who reached out to me with all of their support and even some suggestions for new videos, which I'm very excited to get to those, and they're coming up real soon. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. You know who you are. It means the world to me, and it really does help. Believe me, it does help, even though you don't think it doesn't. So for today's video, I'd like to talk about a question that I get asked quite often, and that is, why study history? Brian, they say, why do you study history and why do you want to make that a career? And this is a question that I believe is very subjective, meaning that there's so many different answers to it, right, depending on the person. And this is also a question that has been pondered by history scholars. They've written books on it, they've written articles on it, and I've read quite a few of them. And even in class, we go around and they say, why do you study history? Why do you like it? And a lot of the answers that I get and I hear are, one of them is studied change over time. Now, that's not wrong. There's no right or wrong answer, I don't think. But I don't think this is a fully complete answer to the question. Yeah, we do study some changes over time, but that's not everything that a historian does. So in my eyes, that's not really a complete answer. Another one that I hear a lot is to learn from the past so that we don't make the same mistake in the future. Well, if that were true, then the cliche that history repeats itself wouldn't exist, right? And in a perfect world, yes, we would learn from our mistakes in the past, and so we wouldn't make them again, right? But a lot of mistakes do happen again, and I don't think that history does repeat itself, but I do think it rhymes a lot, and we'll come back to that later. And the third question I think is quite comical, is that we're just history geeks and we want a fun party trick to so the people just ask us about something and we can go ahead and off on it for hours that nobody actually does care about. And as much as I hate to admit it, as much as that's true, nobody actually cares. And it's not quite a full answer either. So lately, with this workload that I've been getting, and even the next couple weeks here, the workload that I have, I really had to step back and ask myself this question. Why do I study history, and why do I want to make it a career? And the answer that I got personally, I think, is kind of deep, because I really had to, I guess, reorganize my thoughts into thinking, why is history important to me, and why am I going through all this struggle to make it a career for myself? So my answer is that I believe that history includes multiple different studies. It's not just history, right? It's not just dates and old men with wigs, making decisions for us for the future. In 1776, I mean, yeah, it's important. We should know those dates and everything, but that's not what it's all about. I mean, that's skimming. That's very much skimming the top of it. Yeah, so it involves multiple different studies. For instance, geography. I mean, we have to know where in the world we're talking about geographically, why it makes sense and why these things happen. Another one is philosophy. Why did it happen? How did it happen? And what was the reason? Sociology. I mean, we have caste systems in the world today, even now. Social structures and why certain areas have these social structures and why it worked, why it didn't work. Mathematics and economics, believe it or not. I mean, there's economic historians that study why certain either companies or industries have succeeded or not succeeded. A big one in Wisconsin here is why beer companies. Actually, I did one, my undergrad for my capstone, I did one on a brewery and got into the economics a little bit as to why it failed. Political science, very much political science. A lot of history revolves around politics, right? Wars are politics. Elections, obviously, politics. A lot of these things happen because politics happen, right? And another one is, it's psychology. Psychology to me is a big one as well, because I also think history really is, it's a study of human behavior. in a sense, right? How humans react in certain situations. And this is why I think that history rhymes a lot, because I believe that certain situations make humans react similarly, even throughout different times. Now, we might think differently from people in the past, but as a human race, we react to certain stimuli similarly as a survival thing, right? And hopefully, as we go through these videos later, going through the reactions that have different times, and there's certain situations that will be similar to each other, I'm really hoping that you'll see the connection as to why I say that it rhymes a lot, and how humans have reacted to the same things across the world or whatever. And I'm going to try my best to make these connections for you and to contextualize them to today's world in the present, so that it'll help you understand and to make you think about how you would react in this situation, using something that happens today or something similar like that. And also, this is kind of going back to my undergrad years and to my very first college history course, American History 101. And at this time, I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I know I wanted to go to school, get my bachelor's in something. And I was struggling with what I wanted. And History 101 with a certain professor was really when I decided this is what I want to do with my life, and this is why I want to study history. And it wasn't so much the content of the course. As we all know, history is very dense, and it can be very dense. Reading the books is very dense. It can be boring. Honestly, it can be boring. And it wasn't so much that. It was the passion that this man had for history. And you can see it in his face, you can see it in his eyes, you can hear it in his voice and how he's talking about it. And he was talking about it, and you can tell that he wanted to learn just as much as we wanted to, just as much as he wanted to talk about it. And he was the one that made it fun to go to that class. He made me excited to go to that class every single week, and made me want to be a teacher and pursue this. And I found myself thinking about this, and if I ever get the opportunity to be in the same situation as he in the future, and to be a lecturer and professor, if I could do an ounce of what he had, the passion, the excitement that he had for it, then I feel like I've succeeded. He was really the one that got me interested in history and made me want to do this and pursue it. So if you ever see this video or wherever you are, thank you, Dr. Barker. It's because of you is why I'm here. So that's it. That's my answer as to why I study history. And hopefully next week I'll be able to start doing reaction videos and having the real fun about it and contextualizing and really digging into all these topics. So if you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to follow along, and hit that notification bell so when I post my next video, you'll be the first to know. So yeah, this is History with Brian. I am Brian, and we'll see you next time.